I went to Catholic school, and I went to Catholic school in middle school. That's like the worst time to go to Catholic school, right? Because like middle school, those are peak jacking off years. Middle school, you should be jacking off constantly, just putting numbers on the board, doing fucking Kobe numbers, just breaking records left and right. Peak performance, right? But I wasn't jerking off in middle school because I went to Catholic school. And in Catholic school, they shame you. In Catholic school, they're like, hey, no. If you masturbate, God and all your dead relatives, they're gonna be watching. Like, in retrospect, it's like, yeah, that's not on me. What? Excuse me? Yeah, pause, bro. Heaven sounds fucking gay, dude. What? I follow all the rules. I get up there. I'm like, oh, God, I followed all the rules. What's up, man? This is going to be so cool. What are we doing first? Eating ice cream for dinner? And then God's like, nah, man, we're going to watch your grandson jack off for eternity. So what we do here...
You guys remember meeting your first homeschooled kid? Fuck, they're weird. If you've never met a homie, I'll explain it to you. Homeschool kids always act exactly the way an alien would act if they took over a human's body. Like, they kind of get it, but if you watch them from a distance, you're just like, that one's eating cereal with a fork. If they just show up, just walk out of a house in your neighborhood you were sure no children lived in, and when they come out, they always smell like laundry that wasn't dried all the way. And the very first thing they say to you is always nuttier than squirrel shit. It's never, hi, I'm Steve. It's just, my name's Baxter and my dad puts honey in our milk. And you're like, Grow up to fuck weird, like they only move their shoulders.
Racism, it must be learned behavior, right? Because you never meet like a racist baby. Though I would love to. Just an itsy bitsy, teeny weeny racist. What were his first words? We'd rather not say. And for the record, they were taken out of context, okay? I saw a baby in the coffee shop the other day. He was wearing a t-shirt that said, I love life. I was like, you'll grow out of it. My sister calls her baby a miracle, and I play along, but it's a bit much. Miracle? We never call adults miracles. We're doing way cooler shit. There are no babies that can dunk. We just have a baby, we're like, it's a miracle. Then it grows up and we're like, never mind. Winning the lottery, that's a miracle. You'd never win the Mega Millions jackpot and be like, should we keep it?
If you had weed, you wouldn't need sleeping pills. Smoke pot, jerk off, and try to stay awake. Seriously. If you can smoke pot, jerk off, and stay awake, you should be a Navy SEAL. Should be fighting for freedom. Me, I have a goal when I smoke pot and jerk off. It's to stay awake long enough to remember to let go of my dick. I never got there yet. I got close a couple times. I'm like, tonight's the night.
Training some MMA, you know. I've been doing UFC. Some people call it UFC. You do UFC? Like, UFC is the organization. MMA, mixed martial art, is the sport. That's like saying you do NBA, you do Golden State Warrior. It's basketball, you know? So I went to this MMA gym. I started hitting like heavy bags. I was doing like mitts and stuff. And then my coach P, he was like, hey man, you move around pretty good. Why don't you come to one of these sparring sessions, do some light fighting? And I was like, oh, I'll do some light fighting, bro. All you do is twist, right? I got it, man. So I went to a sparring session, and I brought a Tinder date to the sparring session. And yeah, I know now. And the first person I sparred, he was like 6'19". I didn't realize he used to date the girl that I brought on the Tinder date. They were engaged, they had children together. I don't know if any of that's true, but he was hitting me like that. He kicked me in the stomach so hard, I hit the Kaepernick. I was like, ooh, Black Lives Matter. You don't understand what we go through.
Once I was checking a bag, and the guy by the counter, he sees my ticket says Nathan, the license says Nathaniel, and he was like, this is not good. He goes, these names don't match. And I was like, but they match, right? Like, you can see the leap that we took to get from one to the other. And he was like, but they're not the same. I was like, but they're the same. And I'm realizing he cannot find out people call me Nate at that point. I mean, he can't handle that. He's gonna call the police over to be like, there's a guy with 3 names trying to fly right here. If you guys want to just shoot him from over there or something. So I was like, what do you want me to do? And he goes, you should go home. That's all I honestly said. I said, look, I'll give you that those names don't match. But what I think is going to help a ton is the picture on the ID. Something that I've always loved that they did. And I think with 70% of that name matching and 100% face, it's 170%. I think I'll get through it.
I'm always wet every day in New York, somehow. Summer, it's humid, I'm walking, ass wet, armpits wet. Random air conditioners dripping on you. Was that an air conditioner? I don't know, keep going. Wet, wet, wet. Living in New York is like being Leonardo DiCaprio in every single one of his movies. Let's go through them. What do you want to start with? Titanic, drowns to death, wet. Great Gatsby dies in the pool at the end, wet. Shutter Island, it's an island, wet. Inception, first dream, pouring rain, wet. Gangs in New York, he's in the whorehouse, sweating the whole time, wet. Gilbert Grape takes a bath in the second act, wet. Give me some more. Departed, movie theater scene, wearing a hat, starts raining on him, wet. Revenant starts in a fucking river, wet. Blood Diamond runs into a river, shooting a machine gun, wet. Aviator crashes into the ocean, wet. Basketball Diaries, top of the building, jerking off, starts raining on him, wet. He's always wet.
I think women tend to be less comfortable with their bodies than men. And I think a big reason for that is because the names we give for female anatomy are very ugly sounding words. Words like labia majora, labia minora, perineum, furnunculus, cervix, clitoris. Fun fact, one of the things I just said was a Harry Potter spell. The reason I know a lot of this stuff is my mother was, she studied biology, so my brother and I were raised to always use proper anatomical terminology. That's okay most of the time, but every now and then it's not very appropriate. Like I was with my then girlfriend one time, and I was about to euphemism her metaphor. In the heat of the moment, I used the word vulva. Can't you just say vagina? And I was like, well, no, because the vagina is actually just the canal, just the internal portion, the stuff on the outside, that's the vulva. She's like, just stop saying that word. I'm doing you a favor, okay? You can't just go around the rest of your life using vagina as an all-encompassing term for everything between your legs. It's like calling your face your throat.
My ex wore her high heels everywhere, which made her 6'2", which is so tall. And then she'd state her height in heels. Guys were like, wow, you're tall. How tall are you? She'd be like, well, I'm 6'2" in heels. I'm 6'2" in heels. Really? You can do that? Well, hell, I'm 7'8" on a unicycle. All I notice, ladies, is half the time when you're walking them, you look like a special needs person. And if you haven't mastered walking in your shoes sober, why do you insist in walking them drunk all the time? My ex and her friends, they'd walk around town looking like slutty baby giraffes. It's like... holding hands. By the way, why is it only white girls get stumbling drunk? Never black girls. You ever notice that? I think it's because white girls get drunk from the waist down, black girls get drunk from the neck up. Oh, hell no. You better... Don't give me no orders. You don't know me. Give me no orders. Don't give you orders. You're the cashier at Taco Bell.
Anytime you hear about a mass office shooting, somebody was stressed. They couldn't take it no more. They snapped. But I don't work in an office setting, so I don't have to worry about that. But I do fly on planes every week, and the last thing I want to need is to have my pilot be stressed. That'd be some scary shit. I'm sitting in first class, my pilot come out the cockpit and say some shit like, well, fuck it then. Mr. Pilot, can I talk to you for a second? What you need? You want a blowjob, nigga? You want a blowjob? Listen, ain't a gay bone in my body, but at 33,000 feet in the air, if my life is in your hands, my head will be in your lap, nigga, I promise. Some of the other passengers be talking about, what's all that turbulence? That ain't turbulence, nigga. What's going on up there? I'm saving lives, nigga.